The story begins with a heartwarming scene between a father and his daughter enjoying a game together. The little girl seems to be restless, keeping a secret that she doesn't dare share with her father. He, trying to maintain normalcy, suggests that she stay in the car while he goes to get a pizza. Alone in the vehicle, the girl watches as the streetlights begin to flicker and darkness envelops her, filling her with terror. Noticing her father's delay, she decides to go look for him at the restaurant. Upon arrival, the place is desolately empty, and she finds her father on the floor, motionless, as if something had frozen him in the act. At that critical moment, an ominous figure emerges, the boogeyman, who captures the girl and encloses her in a small bag, where she meets a tragic end. We move forward 4 years in time and meet Patrick's family, consisting of himself, his wife Karina, and their son Jack, who live together with Anna, Karina's sister. Patrick and his brother Liam, who is married, work in a wood factory that was a family legacy, immersing them in the everyday life of their inherited work. Patrick has developed an innovative machine that automates the bundling of trees, promising a significant reduction in production costs. Liam, with an optimistic vision, is convinced that this invention will mark a milestone in the factory's history. One night, while Patrick is taking out the trash, an intermittent flickering of the lights envelops him. Sensing a stealthy presence approaching from the dark forest, he decides to investigate. Despite his search, the mysterious visitor remains hidden. At dawn, in a moment of sincerity at the factory, Liam shares with Patrick his struggle with the nightmares that have tormented him since the death of their father. Meanwhile, Patrick works on a wooden owl figure, a craft he inherited from his father, and gets lost in memories of an adventurous childhood with Liam, exploring an old mining cave near the factory. In that cave, enveloped in memory and the echo of past miners, Patrick ventures forth again. Suddenly, he is confronted by a mysterious man armed with scissors, who tries to cut his hair. Surprised and terrified, Patrick hastily escapes from the threatening stranger. Karina spends the afternoon playing with her son Jack in the cozy living room of their home. Although she tries to divide her attention between the game and her work on the laptop, Jack, driven by curiosity, stealthily slips into the forest after a mischievous squirrel. Noticing her son's absence, Karina, overcome with worry, launches into a desperate race towards the forest, where she finally finds him safe and sound. Guilt overwhelms her for having lost sight of Jack. When night falls, Patrick returns home, and Karina, still with a shaken heart, tells him about the distressing incident. As they talk, an intermittent flickering of the lights breaks the calm of the environment, but the reason escapes Patrick. Later, in a corner of the house, he tries to channel his frustration by carving an owl figure in wood, when an email breaks into his tranquility: the rejection of a requested loan. Consumed by anger, he breaks the knife and discards it with disdain. At that moment, he notices Jack talking in his room, although there is no one else with him. Worried, Patrick questions his son about who he is talking to, and Jack insists that he was talking to some dolls, although Patrick doesn't see any. After making sure Jack is in bed, he leaves the room, but a new flicker of lights and an unsettling feeling of being watched from the forest urges him to act. Armed with a baseball bat, he faces the darkness of the forest, challenging whoever is hidden to show themselves. But only silence answers his challenge. Karina, alerted by the screams, goes out in search of him, but Patrick, convinced that they are not alone, insists that she take refuge in the house. At dawn the next day, the anxiety from the previous night leads Patrick to contact the police. Soon, the officers arrive and meticulously comb the area without finding anything out of the ordinary, except for some pieces of wood scattered on the roof, which Patrick immediately recognizes. They were the ones he had discarded the night before. Intrigued by their reappearance, he watches as the police collect the pieces of wood as evidence and give him a number to report any further incidents. While checking the trash again, Patrick discovers among the waste a wooden owl that he himself carved in his childhood. The finding deeply unsettles him, unable to understand how that childhood memory has returned to him in such a mysterious way. Driven by curiosity, he approaches Karina to ask her if she had found the owl and decided to keep it. However, Karina denies having seen it before, which increases the enigma. The situation is further complicated when Patrick notices that the knife he had broken and thrown away the night before has also disappeared from the trash. The inexplicable events begin to weave a web of mystery and suspicion around the family. Overwhelmed by the constant sound of Jack's flute, Karina begs Patrick to hide it so she can concentrate on her work. Obliging, Patrick hides the instrument in a box and decides to entertain Jack with games. However, the little boy soon misses his flute, leading Patrick to look for it elsewhere, leaving Jack alone in his room for a moment. At that moment, a sinister figure known as the Boogeyman slips through the window. Jack senses the danger, and his father, moved by a premonition, rushes back to the room, arriving just in time to protect his son. Jack, visibly disturbed, mentions having seen a doll. To add to the mystery, Patrick cannot find the flute where he left it, nor any trace of it in the trash. Later, while Jack is resting, a warning from the house's security system startles Patrick. Upon inspection, he discovers the shed door ajar. As he approaches, his eyes fall upon a doll wearing a cap that he himself wore in his childhood. Dread settles over Patrick as he recognizes the old cap on the doll. He tries to return to the house, but finds that all the doors are inexplicably locked. Through the window, his gaze meets that of the Boogeyman inside his home. Driven by terror, he breaks the window pane, unlocks the door, and rushes inside to safeguard his family. However, upon arrival, the intruder has already vanished. With daybreak, Patrick contacts the police again. The officers advise him to install security cameras to strengthen the protection of the house. He tells them that Jack's flute has also disappeared, and the police promise to keep a special watch on the area, trying to appease the family's growing concerns. Increasingly overwhelmed, Patrick shares with his brother Liam the mystery of the wooden owl and the cap he had as a child. Liam is baffled, with no answers. That night, Patrick is tormented by nightmares where someone tries to kidnap Jack. He relives a childhood memory. His father took him near a cave and told him about the Boogeyman, a legendary figure who lived there and kidnapped children who disobeyed. As a child, Patrick believed that his father only wanted to scare him into behaving, but his father claimed that it was real. Faced with growing fear, Patrick and Karina consult Barbara, a psychiatrist. She explains that Patrick's sleep deprivation could be causing hallucinations and a feeling of paranoia. Barbara remembers that Patrick drew imaginary monsters during his childhood and suggests that they try to rest properly and that, if the fear persists, they could consider moving. Determined to find some peace, Patrick and Karina choose to spend the night in a hotel, leaving Jack in Anna's care. In the calm of the hotel, Karina asks Patrick to reveal more about those dark days of his childhood. As a child, his father gave Patrick a knife to defend himself against the Boogeyman, warning him that if he lost it, the monster would come for him. Elsewhere, Anna is taking care of little Jack, who sleeps without worry. Suddenly, the lights flicker and loud knocks are heard on the door. In horror, Anna discovers that the Boogeyman has arrived. Terrified, she hides Jack in a closet, but the man finds them and attacks her. With determination, Anna fights bravely to protect herself and Jack. Luckily, the police arrive at the critical moment. After the confrontation, Anna, with minor injuries, receives medical attention. Faced with the persistent threat, Patrick decides that the safest thing to do is to take refuge in his brother Liam's house. Meanwhile, Karina comforts a still shocked Anna, who recounts the paralysis she felt when touched by the man. Throughout the night, Patrick, armed with a baseball bat, remains alert to protect his family. Karina, trying to instill calm, assures him that they are safe in Liam's home. Karina tries to reassure Patrick, assuring him that the police are protecting the house and that Liam is also there to take care of them. Despite this, Patrick falls asleep but wakes up suddenly when he notices on the baby monitor that the Boogeyman has entered Jack's room. He runs there, but it is too late. The man has kidnapped his son. Upon checking the house, he discovers that Liam and his wife have been murdered, as have the policemen on duty. The boogeyman has left no one alive. Blinded by fury and despair, Patrick follows the monster to a cave. He advances through the darkness, unarmed, following only Jack's cries for help. Inside, he finds candles and nests decorated with the favorite toys of the kidnapped children. Upon opening a bag, Patrick finds a toy that reproduces Jack's voice, realizing that his son is not there, which intensifies his anger. Meanwhile, Karina and Anna find Jack unharmed and quickly alert the police. In the cave, Patrick challenges the boogeyman to show himself. The monster, a spectral figure, appears with a bag and touches Patrick, leaving him paralyzed. At that moment, Patrick notices his broken knife in one of the nests. With a desperate effort, he takes it and stabs the monster in the neck. He also recovers Jack's flute. He tries to escape, but the monster captures him. Before being trapped in the bag, Patrick throws the flute out of the cave, saving himself from having his bones completely broken. The police, guided by the sound of Jack's flute, arrive at the cave, but it is too late for Patrick. In the end, it is revealed that the boogeyman was obsessed with special children, whose hair he cut and whom he persecuted for life. Patrick was his main target since he was a child, not Jack. The film concludes with the tragic death of Patrick.